So the Mass Effect 3 Extended Cut DLC just came out, and while I do agree that some of the additional scenes provides some clarity to the questions that were wondered about from the original game's ending, I was still feeling underwhelmed and still feeling a little bit disappointed with what was shown. Uh, on my first playthrough, when I first got the DLC, I decided at the end of the game to go through with Refusal, and not knowing what that would entail exactly. After seeing it, I was initially very disappointed. The ending Stargazer scene sort of allayed my disappointment a little bit, but I still felt that it did not address some of the issues that I had with the ending. But we'll get to that. I wanted to break down some of the extended scenes piece by piece and provide some of my thoughts on them, and maybe see if some other people would share my thoughts or even completely disagree with me, and hopefully strike up the discussion of how this game was handled and how the ending was handled. So right now we're looking at the first bit of DLC that I noticed on my playthrough, and it shows Shepard rescuing his squad mates after they meet a close shave with the Harbinger's beam, and he calls down the Normandy to kind of take them out. And this was to address the issue of what people were wondering, like how did the squad mates get back on the Normandy, the squad mates who were with him on Earth. It Well, I did see this as a positive scene. It kind of struck me as strange because I was wondering, like, why isn't the Harbinger like targeting the Normandy if he can target all these like pesky little humans? But that's just me being nitpicky, and I didn't see this one as too bad. I thought it was actually pretty good on Bioware's part. I thought it was pretty good because it did correctly address the issue that the fans had, and it answered the question. So this is the next extended scene from the DLC, and you can see the Normandy flying away from Earth after picking up your squad mates, and you also get to see more of the space battle that's going on overhead. You can see that the Alliance is not doing well against the Reapers, and that the Reapers are destroying their ships. And I think BioWare meant to show this in order to imply that the Reapers still have the upper hand, and they still have the advantage, and that resistance against the Reapers in a direct confrontation is futile. And this is, I guess, to justify the reasoning in the Refusal ending, which I'll get to later, and I'll explain my thoughts behind that when we get towards the end. And then you see Admiral Hackett receive a bit of news that somebody actually made it to the beam to get to the Citadel. And I think this was put in order to answer the question of how Admiral Hackett knew that Shepard was aboard the Citadel, because I remember some people were wondering how they knew it. Alright, here we are with the most controversial part of the game. Now, we're just gonna listen in, and I'll pause it when I want to comment on something that was said.
Where am I?
The Citadel. It's my home.
Who are you?
I am the Catalyst.
So the first thing I wanted to comment on is something that's been bugging me since the original ending, is as to the name of the Catalyst, because Catalyst means that it's like something that helps bring about change, but it's not really clear what this Catalyst is trying to change. It's more so keeping like a balance, keeping things the same. It's not really a big complaint I have against this, but it just kind of bugged me a little bit.
I thought the Citadel was the catalyst.
No, the Citadel is part of me.
I need to stop the Reapers. Do you know how I can do that?
Perhaps. I control the Reapers. They are my solution.
Solution? To what?
Chaos. The created will always rebel against their creators.
So I found this part to be a little bit weird, because he says the created will always rebel against their creators. Well, now, personally, I disagree with that, but that's beside the point. I found it weird because later on in the Catalyst discussion, it seems to just suggest that since he admits that he was created by someone or some race, and it seemed that to imply that he rebelled against the creator's wishes. I'll note it down when we get to that part, but yeah, I just found that to be weird because he seems to be guilty of what he's trying to stop, and he seems like a hypocrite in some way. Maybe he's trying to atone for that mistake, but the way he talks later on in the conversation doesn't seem to imply that.
But we found a way to stop that from happening. A way to restore order.
By wiping out organic life?
No, we harvest advanced civilizations, leaving the younger ones alone. Just as we left your people alive the last time we were here.
But you killed the rest.
We helped them ascend, so they could make way for new life, storing the old life in Reaper form.
I think we'd rather keep our own form.
No, you can't. Without us to stop it, synthetics would destroy all organics. We've created the cycle so that never happens. That's the solution.
So here's where I took the main issue with what the Catalyst was saying. He said that without the Reapers to do their cycle thing every now and then, synthetics would destroy all organic life. But in the Mass Effect universe, the main synthetic life that posed any real kind of threat were the Geth, and at least in my playthrough, the Geth and the Quarians had made up, and the Geth were actually working with us to defeat the Reapers. And the heretic Geth, who had sided with the Reapers, were assimilated into the main Geth populace. So there was no Geth working anywhere with the Reapers. They were actually fighting against them. So I thought Shepard should have been able to bring up that case where the Geth had actually chosen not to go against the organics, if they had even wanted to go against the organics at all. Which leads me to my next point, which is that from the beginning of the game, and this is actually clarified within this particular game, is that the Geth were not really the real enemies. In Mass Effect 1, you were fighting against the heretic Geth, who had sided with the Reapers. And in the third game, it's clarified that after the first Geth-Quarian war, the Geth really had no interest in pursuing the Quarians. They just wanted to live on their own. They were perfectly content with just living on their own and did not want to pursue war with any of the organics. So it kind of begs the question as to why the Reaper cycle started, if the main point of the cycle is to stop synthetics from destroying organics. But that was really not happening at this point in time in the universe, since the only Geth the main antagonists were those who had sided with the Reapers. There was no genocidal threat against organics by the Geth. So yeah, it kind of, if you look at the entirety of the series, it really doesn't make any sense as to why the Reapers came in the first place, if for the reason that of what the Catalyst is saying.
Where did the Reapers come from? Did you create them?
My creators gave them form. I gave them function. They, in turn, give me purpose. The Reapers are a synthetic representation of my creators.
And what happened to your creators?
They became the first true Reaper. They did not approve, but it was the only solution.
This is the part that I was talking about earlier, where the Catalyst explains what happened to his original creators. And he says that they became the first Reapers, but he also says that they did not approve. Now, this seems to imply that the Catalyst actually rebelled against his creators and went against their wishes and forcefully turned them into the Reapers. Now, this seems to not only be against everything that he's said so far, but in my mind it seems to imply, since the Catalyst is an artificial intelligence, at least I think, it seems to imply that he has gone rampant or insane. And I think Shepard should call him. I think Shepard should have called him out on this, and pointed out his flawed reasoning, and just bluntly stated, "You're insane." I think if Bioware let us do that, it would have led to some interesting scenarios. Like, for example, Shepard could have outsmarted the AI and shown the AI his flawed reasoning, and maybe convinced the AI to call off the Reapers because of his insanity. Or of course, the AI could continue in his insanity and continue making the Reapers destroy all the people. But I mean, in this way, you could have just added on into what was already there, just like the refusal. And I think it would have satisfied a lot more people if they had done that.
You've said that before. But how do the Reapers solve anything?
Organics create synthetics to improve their own existence, but those improvements have limits. To exceed those limits, synthetics must be allowed to evolve. They must, by definition, surpass their creators. The result is conflict, destruction, chaos. It is inevitable.
Now it's clear here that the creators of the Mass Effect universe are strong AI enthusiasts. That's to say that they think that one day artificial intelligence will achieve or even surpass human levels of intelligence. Now, personally, I'm not a strong AI enthusiast. I don't think that AIs will achieve the level or surpass human levels of intelligence, at least algorithmically. Maybe there's other ways that we'll discover in the future, but that's not the point of this. The reason I wanted to bring it up is that let's suppose, for example, that the AIs can achieve human levels of intelligence, as we can see through the Geth, I guess. But the Catalyst is trying to say that if the synthetics surpass, sorry, I shouldn't say just say humans, but organic life, it necessitates the destruction of organic life, and I take issue with that because, for example, among us humans, we know some people are smarter than the others, but that doesn't mean that the smart people have to destroy the weak people or the ignorant people, and that's what he's trying to say there. Even if the synthetics surpass them, there's no way that they could coexist. But clearly, there's something wrong with that. I think there is a possibility that a superior species, if you could call it that, can coexist if they work things out. And we clearly see this as you play through the Mass Effect games. The easiest example that I could bring up is the Geth and Quarians. You settled their dispute, and they have no desire to kill one another anymore. The Quarians initially took the initiative to try to destroy them because they were afraid that the Geth were actively seeking to wipe the Quarians out, but that it was clearly a misunderstanding, and Shepard cleared that out during one of the missions.
Reapers harvest all life, organic and synthetic, preserving them before they are forever lost to this conflict.
We're at war with the Reapers right now.
You may be in conflict with the Reapers, but they are not interested in war.
I find that hard to believe.
When fire burns, is it at war? Is it in conflict? Or is it simply doing what it was created to do? We are no different.
I think this is a flawed analogy by the Catalyst, because he's trying to like justify the Reaper invasion as just what they were created for. Well, the Reapers may have been created by the Catalyst, but the Catalyst was also made by his creator's race. I don't know what they are, but early on in the kind of conversation, and I commented on it, it seemed to be that he went against his creator's wishes. And if that's the case, he's actually actively making the choice to do this insane cycle. So it's not really like the analogy that he's saying at all, and I think that just further proves his insanity.
We harvest your bodies, your knowledge, your creations. We preserve it, to be reborn in the form of a new Reaper. Like a cleansing fire, we restore balance. New life, both organic and synthetic, can once again flourish.
You said you're the Catalyst. What are you?
A construct, an intelligence designed eons ago to solve a problem. I was created to bring balance, to be the catalyst for peace between organics and synthetics.
So you're just an AI?
Inasmuch as you are just an animal, I embody the collective intelligence of all Reapers.
But you were created.
Correct.
By who?
By ones who recognized that conflict would always arise between synthetics and organics. I was first created to oversee the relations between synthetic and organic life, to establish a connection. But our efforts always ended in conflict, so a new solution was required.
The Reapers?
Precisely.
So here we have some insight into what the original purpose of the Catalyst was. And his original purpose was to oversee the relations between synthetics and organics. I think this gives a little more proof as to why the Catalyst becomes insane, because his original purpose was to oversee and try to find a solution. But the solution he found was very crazy, and even his creators, which explains why he said the creators did not approve. And I think that just shows even more of why the AI is rampant, in my opinion.
What do you know about the Crucible?
The device you refer to as the Crucible is little more than a power source. However, in combination with the Citadel and the relays, it is capable of releasing tremendous amounts of energy throughout the galaxy. It is crude, but effective and adaptive in its design.
Who designed it?
You would not know them, and there is not enough time to explain. We first noted the concept for this device several cycles ago. With each passing cycle, the design has no doubt evolved.
Why didn't you stop it?
We believed the concept had been eradicated. Clearly, organics are more resourceful than we realized.
So I found this part to be a little bit interesting, most notably the way the Catalyst says that last line, where he says, clearly organics are more resourceful than we realize. And I found it interesting because it kind of puts a boundary between himself, which is synthetic or an artificial intelligence, and organics. And we clearly see that the Catalyst is not really the fit guardian of the goal that he's trying to say, because the goal he's trying to say is as like the savior of the organic race, but he's put such a disparity between him that I don't know, he just doesn't seem fit for the job.
But you're taking away our future. Without a future, we have no hope. Without hope, we might as well be machines, programmed to do what we're told.
You have hope, more than you think. The fact that you are standing here, the first organic ever, proves it. But it also proves my solution won't work anymore.
So now what?
we find a new solution.
Why are you telling me this? Why help me?
You have altered the variables.
What do you mean?
The Crucible changed me, created new possibilities, but I can't make them happen. If there is to be a new solution, you must act. It is now in your power to destroy us. But be warned, others will be destroyed as well. The Crucible will not discriminate. All synthetics will be targeted. Even you are partly synthetic.
What exactly will happen?
Your Crucible device appears to be largely intact. However, the effects of the blast will not be constrained to the Reapers. Technology you rely on will be affected, but those who survive should have little difficulty repairing the damage. There will still be losses, but no more than what has already been lost.
So out of all the three original endings, I felt that the Destroy ending probably was the better of the three. And the reason I say that is because it effectively ends the Reaper threat. And you can clearly see the consequences, but the consequences are a little bit more laid out in the extended cut because the catalyst clearly says those who survive will be able to repair the damage. So essentially, the rest of the universe will be able to live as they did once they repair everything. The reason I didn't choose it in my playthrough is it didn't follow the way that my character was thinking when I played him, because I had done all that effort to reconcile the Geth with the Quarians, and I didn't see it as fair to just destroy the Geth. But yeah, if I hadn't saved the Geth, I probably would have chosen this ending, because in my opinion, it's the best out of the three.
I made it this far. We'll destroy you without setting it off.
Impossible. You are vastly outnumbered. You have sacrificed many of your resources just to reach this point. If you do not use the Crucible, the Reapers will not be stopped, and the cycle will continue.
I don't believe you.
Your belief is not required.
Now I took issue with what the Catalyst was saying here, because it cheapened the effect that the war asset mechanic of the game, and it made it like virtually useless. Because what was the point of you taking the time to find all those war assets and forge all those alliances with the other races so that they could join you in the fight against the Reapers, if it was all for naught and the Reapers could overcome you and will always outnumber you no matter what you do? This is where I felt Bioware missed an opportunity. And I saw this idea in a YouTube comment on one of the Mass Effect videos, and I thought it was a good idea. You could split the Refusal ending into two different outcomes. One is you don't have enough war assets, you didn't forge all the alliances with the other races in the game, and you would just get the original Refusal ending that's in the extended cut. But if you had got if you maxed out all your war assets and if you forged all the alliances, you could actually overcome the Reapers because you're all prepared. Oh, and maybe you could even throw in the galactic readiness in there to give it actually something to make it affect something. And this would not be unlike the suicide mission in Mass Effect 2, where in Mass Effect 2, if you didn't get all the upgrades for your ship, if you didn't get the loyalty of some of your squad members, Shepard wouldn't survive, or some of your squad mates would die. But since you had, that would affect the outcome of the game. As it is right now, much of what you did in the game really has no effect on the ending. So I think BioWare really missed the mark on that.
There has to be another way.
There is. You could instead use the energy of the Crucible to seize control of the Reapers.
So, the elusive man was right after all.
Yes, but he could never have taken control, because we already controlled him.
But I can.
You will die. You will control us, but you will lose everything you have.
How can I control the Reapers if I'm dead?
Your corporeal form will be dissolved, but your thoughts and even your memories will continue. You will no longer be organic. Your connection to your kind will be lost, though you will remain aware of their existence.
I didn't fight this war so I could give up everything I have.
And I do not look forward to being replaced by you, but I would be forced to accept it.
Not if I refuse to do it.
So the reason I didn't choose this is that I felt it didn't fit my character. I think it would have been an okay choice for a renegade character, but my character was a Paragon character, and I had been fighting the elusive man against this option. And also, this option essentially makes Shepard like a god. He would essentially himself be in control of the Reapers, and he could use it for whatever he pleases. And I think as a Paragon character, Shepard would definitely not choose. He would never give himself this much power, because I don't think he would trust himself with it. I think the only way a Paragon Shepard would choose this option is to use it just temporarily. And what I mean by that is to control the Reapers and make them like inert so that the rest of the Allied forces can destroy them without being destroyed themselves. And once that was done, I don't know what would happen to Shepard. Maybe they could keep him alive and possibly put him in a synthetic body. Because his mind is still there. It's just like somewhere in the Citadel. And maybe it's possible for them to put it in a synthetic body, and that would actually be not a bad ending. But unfortunately, we weren't given that. Another thing I wanted to note is how the Catalyst said, "I am not looking forward to being replaced." Clearly, being the Catalyst is a position of power. I mean, you've got control of the Reapers. And the way he said that, it seems as if he doesn't want to give that up. And if you think about it, the only reason that he would give it up is that there's no longer a problem between synthetics and organics. So, the conflict between synthetics and organics is all that he has for this position of power. And, I mean, whether that tells that he wants to keep the conflict on as long as possible, maybe. But I think he's just still insane, and he's not thinking logically.
There is another solution. Synthesis.
And that is?
Add your energy to the crucibles. The chain reaction will combine all synthetic and organic life into a new framework, a new DNA.
Explain how my energy can be added to the Crucible.
There is little time left, but I will try. Your organic energy, the essence of who and what you are, will be broken down and then dispersed.
To do what, exactly?
The energy of the Crucible, released in this way, will alter the matrix of all organic life in the galaxy. Organics seek perfection through technology. Synthetics seek perfection through understanding. Organics will be perfected by integrating fully with synthetic technology. Synthetics, in turn, will finally have full understanding of organics. It is the ideal solution. Now that we know it is possible, it is inevitable we will reach synthesis.
Why couldn't you do it sooner?
We have tried a similar solution in the past. but it has always failed.
Why?
Because the organics were not ready. It is not something that can be forced. You are ready, and you may choose it.
You're asking me to change everything. Everyone. I can't make that decision. I won't.
Why not? Synthetics are already part of you. Can you imagine your life without them?
That's beside the point.
Your time is at an end. You must decide.
So I didn't choose the synthesis ending for several reasons. First off, I won't discuss the science behind it because it's a science fiction game, and I'll suspend my disbelief for now. But I didn't choose it because it was just too big a decision for one man to make. Especially as a Paragon character, I just felt that I couldn't make that decision for everybody in the galaxy. Because there might be some people who don't like this idea, and I can't just force that upon them because of free will. That's just too big a decision for me to make. And I thought the shepherd in here gave a pretty good defense of why he doesn't want to do it. Also, the catalyst said something like, synthesis is the only way that synthetics can ever truly understand organics. But I kind of disagree with this, and I'll pull another example from the game. The case with Edie. If you continually talk to her through Mass Effect 3, she's an unshackled AI. She's trying to understand organics, and you continually talk with her in the game, and she's slowly but surely getting a greater understanding of organics, and with your help and with Jeff's help. So I just didn't agree with the catalyst there, that synthesis was the only option to do that.
No. I'm gonna end this war on my terms.
Then you will die knowing that you failed to save everything you fought for.
I fight for freedom. Mine and everyone's. I fight for the right to choose our own fate. And if I die, I'll die knowing that I did everything I could to stop you. And I'll die free.
So be it.
I thought that Shepard's refusal speech was actually the best part of the extended cut DLC, because it elaborates a lot of what I've been saying so far. Shepard's all about free will and being able to determine your own destiny. And he doesn't want to make the choice for anybody else. And I thought this speech did a great job of explaining that.
The cycle continues.
If you're hearing this, then there is still hope. Hope that you can avoid the same mistakes we made. We fought the Reapers, but we failed to stop them. We did everything we could. We built the Crucible, but it didn't work. We fought as a united galaxy, but it wasn't enough. I only hope the information in this capsule is enough to help you before it's too late. My name is Dr. Liara T'Soni. Herein lies the recounting of our war with the Reapers.
All right, then after the credits roll, you'll see the Stargazer scene, and you'll see that your efforts were not in vain. That the information passed down actually helped them to eventually defeat the Reapers. And that that I did see that as a positive thing. It was kind of nice to see that the Reapers were eventually defeated without the use of the Catalyst's choices. But I still felt that there were a lot of things that were a bunch of missed opportunities. And if you look at, I think if you looked at the Mass Effect 3 ending as an isolated thing, like say Mass Effect 3 were like a movie, I think this ending would have been a good ending. But if you take into account everything that's happened within the trilogy, all the alliances that you've forged, all the war assets that you've collected, and it just doesn't fit in. I think they could have done a lot better job in dealing with the ending. I thought Mass Effect 2 handled the ending like excellently, and it took into account what you had done through the game. Uh, Mass Effect 3's ending doesn't really do that at all, and I felt that they really missed out on that. But what's done is done. You can only you never know if Bioware will change the ending. They said originally that they weren't going to change the ending, but they added another one, and it wasn't the greatest, but I mean it was certainly an improvement. But we'll see what Bioware does. See how the fans react. But let me know what you think. If you agree with me, disagree with me, and I'll see you next time.